Hi everyone, and welcome to my 30-day coding challenge where I'll try to learn to code a fully functioning website in 30 days. This is day 16. So let's just review what I did today and what are the next steps. Today I was supposed to finish JavaScript and start learning about a backend web development language. And as per the plan, I was supposed to finish JavaScript and then move on to learn about Node.js. But there is a slight amendment to the plan. I'll get into the details later, but let's just review what I finished in JavaScript and how I found JavaScript coming from a non-technical background. What were the things where I struggled most, and what were the things I thought there were some low-hanging fruits that people can be benefited from. So I guess my review for JavaScript was it's definitely a difficult language to master. Like I mean, you can have some proficiency in few days, but if you want to be writing complex web pages, you need to put in a lot of time. The good thing about is it follows the same structure. Like the structure is not different. Anything you want to do in a web page, it it follows a simple three-step structure. First one is save the data. So you create a fake data first, or you can have original data as well, and then you'll try to generate HTML, meaning you'll create a loop or you'll create a function where from JavaScript you'll try to generate HTML depending upon the data that you have saved, so that the page refreshes on its own. Like there's always new data when you want to scroll down. There's always new data when you click into something. So that's what we mean generate HTML. And then to make it interactive, like what happens when you click into a product, where does the order go, what happens when there is an error on the page, so or what happens like when you call a function in the background and it does something for you on the web page, such as like if you say add to cart, and then the product that you're looking into just gets add on to a cart in that page and in a subsequent page as well. So that's what we mean by making it interactive. So it's a very utility based language where you can do a lot of stuff, and this is all basically similar way of writing code. There's nothing complex about it. It's quite it's the same way where you'll write the same things over and over again. But in order to get comfortable with the same syntax, with the same structure, you'll have to practice a lot. Like I don't think you can master that in few days. You'll have to practice for a few weeks at least, writing those loops, creating those functions, and making sure that everything works. Because right now, I mean, I can obviously write functions, create loops, but there's always something missing when I try to do it on my own. There's always something that I haven't thought about. And there is other thing as well, which is difficult to get hold of, is this asynchronous nature of the code, the JavaScript language itself, which takes some time to master. Like I mean, you need to visualize in your head which sort of code will run first, and it's not always linearly programmed in a sense like this command will be executed first and then it will go to this command. It's a little bit more complex than that. So that's why like you need to spend some more time with it to get comfortable with that synchronous nature of the code, and then you can definitely master it. And I just want to give a little disclaimer. Like when I say I finished the course, like I basically skimmed through last few modules of it, which were classes, inheritance, and async await, because I just wanted to move on to the next language, then move on to the next part of my plan. I've already stretched JavaScript schedule for more than a day or so. So I am behind in my schedule by at least a day. So I didn't want to spend much more time, since I thought like I've gotten the background of it, I've gotten the basics of it. So I'll try to like move on to the next step, which is to learn about uh, backend web development language in order for me to like complete the challenge in 30 days. So, and then I covered like, so yeah, what did I struggle with? Like, I mean, as I came from non-technical background, the thing that I struggled most was the case sensitive nature of the syntax, and asynchronous nature of the code. And these were the two main things I guess I struggled most. And sometimes it was very difficult for me if there are nested functions, one function inside other, to properly visualize the execution of those. So these were the few things that I thought like I struggled most coming from non-technical background. But if you have a technical background, if you are familiar with those sort of concepts and you have been writing code for some time, I guess that might not be much of an issue for you. And then, yeah, then move on to the next step. So next step, as per the plan, I was supposed to learn about Node.js for my backend development, but I decided to do more research because since I did not enjoy that much JavaScript, so I thought like if I were to migrate from JavaScript to Node.js, which is essentially an extension of JavaScript in backend, I guess I probably won't enjoy next 4 or 5 days of learning. So I did some research, and also there are some limitation for learning Node.js as a backend development language because it's not very scalable. It's not it doesn't it makes loading a little bit slower as well, so it's not fast, it's not scalable, and it's definitely not the best language to learn if you're already not comfortable in JavaScript. So that's why I thought rather than struggling with Node.js for next 3 4 days, I would try to research and see if I can find something else where I'll probably either be able to learn something more or hopefully enjoy it more as well. So if I were not to go with Node.js, there were only two practical choices left in terms of backend development language, which were Go and PHP. The reason being, all the other languages such as C++ or Rust are even difficult to master in comparison to JavaScript. So they would require much longer time horizon for anyone to be able to like code efficiently in those languages. Nothing against those languages, which those are fantastic language to learn. They have their own advantages. It's just that they don't fit within my time frame for me to get comfortable with. So you'll probably need months and months of practice to master C++ and Rust. So there are only two practical options left with me, PHP or Go. I decided to go with Go because it's a relatively new language, and like it's a growing community, and it's also quite scalable and fast. And I might try to do something in fintech later on, and it's been sort of used by a lot of fintech platforms lately because of its reliability and security features. So that's why I decided to go with the Go language, or Golang as they call it. Sorry, it's developed by Google in 2007, so it's a relatively new language comparison to PHP. Why I didn't go with PHP? Because I mean, online it seems like it, even though it's easier than Golang, it's sort of a dying language in a sense. Not many people are preferring to go with PHP because it might have some security issue, or it might have some other issue which I'm probably not aware of. So anyway, I decided to go with Golang, and tomorrow I'll sort of provisioned few lessons that I'm going to go ahead with. So there is a course that I'm going to do, a beginner's Go course on YouTube. That's probably take most of my tomorrow, and we'll see how I feel like. I mean, if I don't feel like I would be able to compile a good backend development server in next 2 days in Go, then I'll probably switch on to Node.js and start again. But if I feel like I mean it will give me good enough foundation to continue with my backend journey, then I'll probably continue with Go for next 4 or 5 days. So that's the plan for me, and I hope it gave you some clarity of like, what sort of languages are out there, and if you are in two minds, or if you are trying to think about learning a backend web development language. So hopefully it helped you in making your decision. Well, that's pretty much it from me. Really excited for tomorrow to learn something new. I was, yeah, as I've already told you, last few days with JavaScript haven't been really great. So really excited to finally learn something new and put JavaScript in rear view, even though like there is a good chance, a good risk of me losing the syntax that I've already learned in JavaScript. So what I'm planning to do is to probably just go through either a tutorial video on YouTube for 15 20 minutes, or just practice on my own for 15 20 minutes JavaScript that I've already learned, so that I don't lose it from my muscle memory. That's the plan. And as always, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.